Hi, folks. We are back in the Cobb TV studio with Commission Chairman Mike Boyce for his weekly chat with us. And Chairman, we're getting into the summer, at least it feels like it, with the weather out there these days. But a lot going on, and I just attended one of the Comprehensive Transportation Plan meetings the other night and was surprised how chock full of information that meeting was.
Well, it's one of those issues, if not the issue of the future for Cobb County. And I've been saying this at many forums over many months. We have to get this one right. You've heard me say on many occasions, I do not need another traffic study to tell us that we have traffic problems in Cobb County. But there is not one solution to all these to resolve or mitigate some of this traffic. And I think that all of us are old enough or been around enough now to realize that no matter what we do, we're always going to have a traffic problem of some kind. First of all, it's influenced by the fact that we are, in fact, going to grow to a county of somewhere in the next 30 years to 1 million people. And 1 million people are going to be bringing more vehicles. And I don't care if you have autonomous vehicles or whatever, you're going to have people that have day-to-day needs where they need a vehicle to get to where they're going to take care of their requirements. Which is why this is so important that this process, A, is the appropriate length of time where we get as much community involvement as possible, because these are going to be their ideas they're going to see in the referendum when we have it in the future. And requires us to make sure that we publicize to the point that they know about this and they can put it into their very busy schedules so they can come to one of these forums and, more importantly, be committed to them in the future. I just thought that what I saw at the public hearing that I went to in Smyrna a couple weeks ago had lots of great information in there. So if nothing else, it's a refreshing way to see what the future looks like, and it really reflects very favorably on our staff that we have young people who can look 30 years down the road. Now look, in 30 years I'm going to be 100 years old, all right? So I need to have an autonomous wheelchair to go where I'm going to be going. But we always should build on our future for our children and our grandchildren. And on this one here, we have to find a way to engage them, both that generation of today and my generation, to find what it is that we think is the common ground for all of us.
We're going to eventually put one of these CTP presentations up on the website so you can watch it from the comforts of your own home. But one thing that impressed me about it, it was very interactive. There's actually hands-on activities that the participants have to deal with, and that's a big part of, I think, what you're saying about getting involved and being part of the process.
Yeah, look, we don't want to waste people's time. My commitment is that if we're going to do something and you come to it, we're going to make sure that your time is used to your benefit. And I can't think of a better forum for this. And so what I would encourage people is, look, just take a chance, all right? Try to find a way to bring yourself, make it a family or a friends group. Bring them all, and you will find yourself getting involved in which I consider some sort of a gaming program, where you're going to have a direct impact on what the future looks like for Cobb County. Because at the end of these first public hearings, we're going to take all this data and we're going to bring it back to the board, okay? And they're going to brief us, and then we're going to move forward as to what the next phase looks like. But the good news is that by the time these public hearings are over at the end of May, we might have something that we can put on the SPLOST list that we're going to vote on for sure in 2020. And that will be something that there are some things we don't have to wait to 2021 or 22 to vote on. It's clear from the public hearings that we need to do this right now. SPLOST can pay for it, so let's put it on the list.
So we'll put a list of the remaining dates for these CTP things up on the screen here. And of course, we have those on our website as well,
Great.
So people can attend. So as we roll into the summer, as we mentioned, for you, the much of your time gets focused on the budget.
Sure. Right.
Public safety has been a big topic of conversation at our commission meetings lately, and we just last night made a pretty big announcement with the police chief moving over to become public safety director.
Yeah, as you know, Mike Register, there's no way to describe. He's done a fabulous job as our police chief. He's been police chief for almost 2 years now, and it is astounding the changes he has made in the short time he's been here. He has completely taken all these 700 officers and the staff that come with them, and he's given them a whole new focus. And he's implemented some programs in there that have changed the way that we do police in our county, and it enhances our quality of life here. People know that when you call our police department, we want to be partners with you, and I cannot say enough good things about Mike Register. The only downside is that we're going to lose him as a police chief, and that was one of the reasons I was a little reluctant to support his request to become the Director of Public Safety. But this comes with governments. This comes with anything. Good people are promoted, and so you have to find someone to take their place. But you want to keep those good people around. And Mike's going to bring the creativity and the dedication, because no matter where I went my first years in office, he was always there. So he's a consummate professional, and I look forward to him to leading and coordinating our efforts in public safety. Because one of the reasons that we have this position is that we don't want to have people operating in silos. Under Mike comes the police department, comes emergency management, it comes 911, and it comes animal services. And we do not want to have these 4 different silos working independently of each other and fighting for the bucks in our budget. And one of Mike's responsibilities is going to be to coordinate their efforts to make sure that we have the best bang for our buck, that they're efficiently sharing duties so that they work off each other, they synthesize their efforts together, and their synergism works. And that means a better budget, because that means I'm not having to price 4 different options. I'm pricing one large entity, and that works towards the greater good of the whole county.
Right, and we didn't mention fire. He'll also be working with fire, but
He
they've
will.
got their own silo of money.
That's true. That's correct. And that's a great point. Is that the police, EMA, 911, animal services, they all fight for money within the general fund budget, whereas the fire fund, they have their own. But Michael also coordinated that effort. And Randy Kreider did a really great job while the interim. And that just goes to kind of demonstrate the kind of professionals we have here in Cobb County.
Right, and one comment you made last night that I found particularly telling in the situation is, public safety and pay and benefits for them and retention and all that stuff has become a big topic.
Sure.
You said by moving Register into this public safety director position, that moves that discussion down the road farther than it normally would be.
Absolutely.
By having him in that position.
Right. Look, there's only so much time we have on our day. Just because we work in government, we still only get 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to do our job. And I think it's a time to recognize, if we haven't already, this is a county of 760,000 people. This is not a small country farm county anymore. We're moving towards some kind of a label between suburban and urban, but we have a lot of people here and they have a lot of needs. And we need to start having a government that reflects that kind of a county. And that brings government. Now, we're not proponents of big government, but you can't have small government with 760,000 people. And you can't have a small public safety department or a sheriff department or a judicial branch with 760,000 people. Because even if only 1%, of that 760,000 people get involved in public safety every day, that's still close to 10,000 people that we have to deal with. So just do the math. So what we're trying to do here is take a very finite number of resources called your taxes and use them, leverage them to the benefit that we have more than what we need, but we can use our money in a more efficient way so we can produce that. But I think it's also time to recognize that no one department in this county is more important than the others. This is one team, one fight. Every one of them is spokes on a bike wheel. The police department, 911, any department in this county can't do its job unless the other departments help support them. And let's just say the police, all right? They need to have HR to process their paychecks and everything. They need to have IS, information services, to help with the hardware and software in their police cards. So does 911 to help them make sure they have instant communications. They need to have property management to go in there and refurbish their precinct stations. I could go down the list here of why, as important as public safety is here, they can't do their job unless everybody else does their job. And one of the reasons other people can do their jobs is because we properly compensate them. So right now the focus is on public safety compensation. I get that part. And as a matter of fact, I have created this problem because of the new way we do budgets. I've created this problem because I did 16 town halls in March, which allowed people to come and use those forums to express what they thought needed to be done. And I recognize the fact that the media is going to take those items and it's going to turn a headline into it and make it seem like it's the only issue. It is not the only issue. We have across the board here, every department has requirements. And it just comes with government. I spent 30 years in the military, and we never got all that we needed to do our job. But we were expected to find a way to do it. And in this way, in this county here, we do the same thing. But there is a message that we are digging ourselves out of this hole. Just this year alone, all right? Well, between last summer budget and where we're going now, we have spent over $50 million either in additional programs, services, capital items for public safety alone. That goes from new buildings for the police department. It goes to new cars for the police department. It goes to hiring new people for the police department. It goes to providing additional resources for accountability courts, for the solicitor, for the district attorney, for the, I can just go across the whole board. We have made, as a board, some hard but conscious decisions to gradually improve what we need to do, where we're going. And we're going to get there, and that's called hope. But hope has to come with confidence in our government. And those who don't believe that we're doing enough here, we're never going to make everybody believe in what we're doing. That just comes with the territory. But if you go back and look at the facts, starting in 2017, when we did the pay study, and I was looking at some statistics the other day, we in fact plussed up the police for the new entry-level employees all the way up to lieutenants, sergeants, lieutenants, anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 a year. That was a small step. But the problem we have, of course, is that just brought them up into the mid-market range. So when the counties around us saw what we did, what do? They increased their salaries so they could draw more of our people away. So it's this endless loop of people borrowing from us to take our people. But it's not just in the police department. We're losing somebody from Parks and Services today because another agency's hired them away. The state borrowed Vic Reynolds here last year to be the GBI. We are the go-to county because we do the best training, and we're always going to have that challenge. I could not be more proud of that fact, that we provide the best training, the best leadership, so people are always going to want to come take from. That should be a mark of respect regionally, that if you want good people that are honest and can do their job, you go to Cobb County and you take them. Am I happy to see that? No, I'm not. But that also attracts people knowing that, yeah, I'm going to go to Cobb County work because they're going to train me, they're going to equip me, they're going to be great leadership, and I'm going to work for them. Now, they may have other aspirations, all right? They may not live in the world that I did when I joined the Marine Corps. I had no intention of ever leaving. But that's not the way people are today. I understand that, and I have to work with that. But money is never going to solve all the problems. And this county is always going to be very conservative, and we're always going to do what we can do with the limitations provided to us by the taxpayer, called the millage rate. There will be no millage rate increase this year because I promised there wouldn't be one. I got to live up to that promise. But I'm only one vote on the board, okay? And last night, a number of the people who spoke said they challenged the board, who's going to step up, and carry this flag. All I can say is that last year I carried that flag, all right? And last year all I could get was 1.7 mils. And I think that when you sit down and do the hard political reality of it, there is, I'm not sure who's going to run that flag, but I have done all that I can do. And I continue to do that to show all the people in this county staff, regardless of where they work, that we have their best interests in heart. But our limitations are the tax revenue. And there's no way around that. So we're going to see what happens. This process has done exactly what I hoped it would do. Somebody asked me last night if I was frustrated by it. Of course I'm not frustrated by it. It's exactly what I want to happen. We have hundreds of people coming to our board meetings, wanting to express their opinions. My Lord, what more do you want in America? All right? You want them to come. You want the board to see that they're passionate about their cause. You want them to make our job hard. I wish it was easy, but it's never going to be easy. But I can't think of it any other way, because when you make it hard on us, that means that we have to make sure that we work collectively together to make the right decisions that are going to at least arrive at some compromise that's reasonable. And I could not be more proud of the people in this county and what they're doing. You got to say last night that in spite of all the hard opinions, they did it respectfully, all right? We don't have these issues of people standing up there and turning this into some kind of theater. They get the fact that this board has some hard decisions to make, and the way you make it easy on us is that you give us your opinions in a very respectful manner. But I can assure you, we are far from over on this decision. We still have another 2 months before we're going to come to some idea of what this budget is going to look like. But I want to encourage everybody that's out there, your board, they listen, and we want you to come. And I could not be more proud of the fact that I live in a county where people know they can come and hear their voices.
Well, we have already posted some information about your budget proposals on the website, cobbcounty.org. And as you heard, the coming weeks and months are going to be full of a lot of important information and a lot of important decision making. So stay plugged in with everything Cobb County on our social media networks that include Facebook, Twitter, YouTube as well. The chairman has a newsletter that comes out every week, as do the commissioners. You can go online to find out where to sign up for those, because as you mentioned, there's going to be a lot going on in the coming months.
Yeah, it's a great time to live in Cobb County. All right, the weather's been beautiful. There's lots of people have jobs.
Allergies.
They have allergies, some of them do. But the bottom line here is that in the long run, there is no better place to live than Cobb County. And that's because the people that live here who make sure that their government delivers their services, but they do so in a way that's honest and an open manner.
All righty. Well, we'll see you next week. And like I mentioned, stay in touch.
Okay. Thank you, Ross.